Julie says Jason has cleavage fever.
He's obsessed with breasts.
And when he had a blind date,
What do you think he noticed first?
Her chest.
He guessed my bra size like that.
meanwhile, Julie had a dream date.
Good mix between Brad Pitt and Matt Damon.
And he gave her some advice.
She told me that Jason's always pointing other women's breasts out to her. You should just point out, guys with big packages to him.
Now that they've gotten it all off their chest,
Said that he had more chest than she did.
will they have a change of heart?
Change of heart, and here is our couple du jour. Now, when she saw him, there was no doubt in her mind that that was the guy for her. However, though, he showed no interest at all. So she flirted, she fawned, she even phoned, but he finally fell for her on the dance floor when she boldly planted a big wet kiss on his lips. Yes. And now, 4 months later, here they sit. Please welcome Jason Cross and Julie Patterson. Welcome to the show. Jason, let me ask you, you obviously had it bad for her. How did you know she was the one?
Well, right when I came home one day, after like a few months of going out, she surprised me with a birthday party. Friends and family were all there, and I knew right then that was the girl for me.
Very sweet thing for her to do. Very nice. All right. And Julie, when it's just the two of you, does he make you feel like you're really that special one?
Well, Jason's idea of foreplay is, chasing me around the house going, no, I know you brought the ass with you. Give it to me, come on.
That's not foreplay at all. I mean, I'm not trying to make that into foreplay. I'm just trying to have a good time.
Oh, she's misinterpreting, I guess, your moves.
Exactly. I'm just trying to get her to have a good time, play around.
I have a good time, but
Yeah, but Julie, does he not know how to make you feel romantic or at all?
Well, yeah, he does that, but I'm just saying, he does have his moments. He does, but there's still the moments where he tries to pursue it the wrong way. He just goes about it all the wrong way, and then he gets mad when I don't,
Jason,
react.
here's a question for you. If there was a movie about your relationship, who would play the parts?
I would definitely play the part of Adam Sandler, and she would have to play the part of Barbara Walters.
Barbara Walters?
It's so boring and dull.
What is that about?
So boring and dull. And I'm just trying to make everybody laugh, having fun. Just kicking it.
I'm not boring. I just, when we were first together, I was laughing. He would even, my stomach would be hurting. I'd laughing so hard at him. But, after a while, the jokes would be on my account. He'd make fun of me in front of all of his friends. It'd be...
Okay.
So that can be a problem, I understand. Now, Julie, what about the difference between the two of you? You're 18, he's 23. And what are you hoping to get out of this relationship?
Well, I was looking to date an older guy, which I usually do, and I look for more maturity, but sometimes I find I'm more mature than he is. And...
Was he's acting up and carrying on?
No way. She's just so mature. She's like 50.
She's like an old lady.
Come on. Let's have a good time, We're young.
I know how to have a good time. I'm always up for a good time, but,
Yeah, Julie, you said some of the jokes are at your expense that he pulls on you.
Some of them.
Well, wait, though. Doesn't that hurt your feelings? Be honest.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he can be very hurtful with his words. We get in fights, and he'll say stuff like, "Oh, I'm glad we have this distance, otherwise we'd be broken up." And then
it's just
then
the
later,
heat of the moment thing.
Then later you realize, "Oh my gosh, I did say that. I'm really sorry."
Like,
and
then he's
say
backpedaling.
Yeah, he'll say he's sorry, but he doesn't think before he says, and he doesn't realize that those hurt.
All right, Jason, let's talk about her appearance. How do you feel about her appearance?
Well, you can take her makeup off with a shovel, Chris. I mean,
too heavy for you?
Oh, definitely too heavy. The first night we hooked up, I mean, I had foundation from my nose to my chin.
Okay. I will admit, I definitely...
It's such like cracked cement.
I definitely will admit, I used to
Exactly.
be bad, but he played Mr. Drill Sergeant, and he'd follow me in every room I went.
I just wanted to see you one time without makeup.
And I came out of the shower and you saw me, and then you followed me.
And you still had eyeliner
No,
on.
I didn't. I didn't have
like
anything.
5 pounds of it.
Now, Julie, how does Jason show he cares about the relationship? How does he show you?
Well, since he did move a couple hours away, I went down there one time, and he took me aside and, wrapped his arms around me and showed and told me how, much I meant to him and how he wanted this relationship to work, and I thought that was really sweet.
Oh, that's nice. And Jason, you guys live a couple of hours apart now. What about when you are together? Does she give you all her attention?
No. I mean, we'll be fooling around in the bedroom and stuff, And then a phone will ring, and she'll just pick up the phone and start talking to her friends. I'm not even there.
Why would you ignore the phone at a moment like that?
No, that's not true.
Exactly.
That's so untrue. And
Exactly.
he does it too. He does it too. He just sees it from his side.
Now, Julie, obviously you guys have some differences here. By coming on the show, you hope to achieve what, Julie?
Well, we do have the distance between us, and so I thought, I've been in a relationship prior, and it was a long-distance relationship, and so I just want to see before I make any, life-changing decisions that he's the right one for me.
All right, that's understandable. Now, Julie, Before we go to break, I want you to tell us what Jason said that he was going to do on his date.
He said he was gonna have sex with her all day.
All right. Well, that's interesting, Jason. We're going to find out what he did exactly, so stay tuned. Jason's biggest gripe about his girlfriend Julie is that she's boring. So, girls just want to have fun. That's the motto we kept in mind while searching the beaches for a blonde babe for Jason. Well, which blonde does Jason have more fun with, his girlfriend Julie or his date? Please welcome Rebecca May. Julie, let me ask you, do you think that Jason ever found out if Rebecca's a real blonde or not?
I don't think you have to be intimate with her to find that out. Pretty obvious.
All right.
Okay.
Jason, when you talked to Rebecca for the first time over the phone, what kind of impression did you get? How'd she sound?
Well, kind of like her sentences weren't really making sense, and kind of not to be stereotypical or anything, Chris, but it kind of like a typical blonde. Kinda.
You're saying not too bright, maybe?
Not too bright.
And Rebecca, what was your perception of the same phone call?
Well, I thought we had a lot in common. Lots of the same humor, same jokes. We're laughing. That's important.
Mm-hmm. Julie, what about Jason when he met Rebecca in person? What do you think he noticed first?
Oh, her chest, definitely.
And why do you say that?
Oh, he's obsessed with breasts. It's like he needs. I don't know.
It's
He's
something
like
that he needs. Rebecca, let me ask you: is Julie accurate about his description?
Guess my bra size like that.
Oh, Jason, you're good then, I guess. So you had your blonde bombshell here. What'd you have in store for the date?
Well, as soon as I arrived, she had everything planned, the plane booked, the dinner reservations right afterwards. Nothing would happen like that with Julie.
So big difference.
Big difference. As soon as all the time I asked Julie what she wants to do, no suggestions,
it's
nothing.
a first
I don't
date.
know.
What do you expect?
So she had some good ideas. And Rebecca, would you schedule a flight just to go look at the coast?
My friend is a pilot, so we chartered out his plane, went over Catalina, went around the beaches, we buzzed through Newport Beach.
So that's cool. So a nice flight, and then you're coming back to land. And what were the plans?
Went to my place.
Uh-huh.
To get ready, and while we're getting ready, I got a nice look at Jason has a very nice body.
So he was changing in front of you? And you were getting ready for what, Rebecca?
We went to dinner.
Okay.
Laguna Beach. I had reservations made a few nights before, so.
Mm-hmm. And Rebecca, what did Jason notice in your apartment?
Oh, I believe he made the comment, no ants or dirty underwear.
Ants or dirty underwear?
Like Julie's.
Yeah. And what is that a reference to, Jason?
Chris, I went over one time, or a few times, to Julie's house, Julie's room, and there's just panties, bras, everything, soda
That's
cans,
my space.
Pepsis.
That's my space.
My pig pen. That's what you're saying then, right?
Hey,
Well,
it's
she's
my
just
space.
a little
I'm
There's
different
courteous.
ants
style.
coming
I'm
over
courteous
anywhere.
when
I
it
didn't
comes
even
to
want
other
to put my
people.
stuff down. I had to hang it up on like the door handles and stuff.
And we only
So-
had ants because
All right,
it was hot.
Jason, after Rebecca changed for dinner, what did you notice first?
That she wasn't wearing that much makeup. No makeup at all.
So again, big difference.
I had put the shovel away. I didn't even need it.
And Rebecca, at this point at dinner, was he still making all the right moves?
We had a very good time, very good conversations. We spent a long time there, but when the bill came, not a good tipper. And I am
Jason.
a little on the short on the tips. And I'm a waitress, so
You noticed
gotta
those
do
things
it right.
then.
You gotta do
Coming
it
up
right.
a little short.
But that's
Jason, what about after dinner? Did you guys agree on what to do then?
Yeah, well, a little. We she wanted to go to the bar and hang out with her friends and stuff, and I wanted to go see a movie, so we wouldn't kind of like get separated in the bars for some reason. So we went and saw a movie instead.
So you thought that would be more time with her?
More
You
time
guys
with
would be
more
together.
time with Rebecca.
And what about at the movie while you're there? You're glued to her, paying attention, or you watching the movie?
Well, we first went into the movie and we were just kicking it, and we started watching the movie, and then we started making out and kissing. And then we came out of the
terrible.
movie. The movie was terrible.
So we had to
Entertain yourselves, yes.
What else can you do?
And so she obviously wasn't fighting it. She was sort of going along with it, Jason?
Pretty much.
The kiss was great. Great kiss.
Julie, think back, and do you remember your first kiss with Jason? What was it like?
Well, our first kiss wasn't that special. It was kind of like we were partying and we kissed, passed out. Our friend was passed out next to us. It wasn't really special, but he is a good kisser.
romantic.
I know what she means. He's a great kisser. So yeah, other kisses after that were special. So.
Rebecca, earlier we heard Julie say that he can be somewhat hurtful or spiteful with his words. How about you? What word would you use?
Very romantic.
You didn't see that side
No,
at all.
not at all. Complimented me the whole night.
Oh, this is just the first date.
Okay.
He was on his good behavior.
Yeah, okay.
Complimented me the whole night, and I mentioned him, but an ex-boyfriend saying things, and he was just like, "I cannot believe you said that, because you're absolutely
People say the
beautiful."
same thing about him.
What, that he says those things?
Just because they want the ass.
Now, Jason, here we are at the end of the night. Your date has gone pretty well. Could you tell she's into you or not?
Oh, yes, definitely, Chris. Like in the movie, the first kiss was like for 5 minutes long, right? I went back to watch the movie and I noticed she was still staring. And she took my hand and put it on her chest and said, "Feel my heart." And that it was pounding. She said, "I've never been kissed that nice before."
Wow. Very romantic. Well, Jason, if it got that hot in the theater, I got to know what it ended up like at the end of the date, by the end of the night.
Well, by the end of the night, we were walking back to the truck and kissing and holding hands and things. We were gonna make it last a little longer and stuff, but we thought, you know what? Let's just let it go tonight. We didn't have a condom or anything.
Wow, Julie, he actually was considering having sex, obviously. How's that make you feel?
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, I'm sure. All right, well, Julie, maybe you did learn something new. We'll see. Next, we're going to meet Julie's date and hear why he describes her as super soft and so passionate. Stay tuned. On Jason's date with Rebecca. Julie, I want to ask you, when you first saw your date, what did you think he looked like?
Definitely a good mix between Brad Pitt and Matt Damon. Very good.
Brad Pitt and Matt Damon, that's quite a combination. So without further ado, please welcome Tad Boyd. Hey, Tad. How's it going? See you. How are you? Well, Jason, what celebrity do you think Tad resembles?
I like Fabio's little brother. Little too cute there. Little too.
All right, Tad, you were watching the show earlier. You heard Jason's explanation or his idea of foreplay. I got to ask, what's yours?
Full body massage, maybe. Some nibbling on the neck, leaning into some kisses, etc.
Yeah, really being able to treat her right. And Tad, when you first saw Julie, did you feel like you could give her that kind of attention?
Oh, definitely. She was coming down the stairs, and I just saw these long, tan legs. They went on and on and on. I was like, my God, she's so hot, so perfect.
So that was good for you. And Julie, how did Tad surprise you when you first met?
Well, I told him when we were talking on the phone, I told him it was my birthday coming up that week, and so he got me a card with it was one of his modeling pictures, and so he got me this, and it says on the inside, "I know we just met, but I'll give you my best at least for one day." And I thought that was really sweet.
Not a bad start, I guess. And Tad, you were really pleased with the legs. What about the rest of her?
The rest of her's great. She's nice, small waist. Mm-hmm. She told me that Jason's always pointing other women's breasts out to her. Oh. And, making comparisons and stuff. Oh. What's up with that? I mean, you should just point out, guys with big packages to him.
So, Tad, obviously you enjoy her shape and don't have any complaints. Are there any other parts of her body that caught your eye?
Definitely her eyes. Her eyes are just kind of mesmerizing. They just draw you in. They draw you in and they just capture you, and I was just mesmerized all night.
I gotta ask Julie though, because he said in the card he'd give you his best. How'd he do?
Oh, he was great. We went deep sea fishing, and he was like a total pro. He taught me how to do it all. And when I told Jason, we were gonna go fishing, he's like, I thought that was kind of weird and
boring.
Yeah, what's up with dinner and the movie? I mean, come on.
We went flying before that.
But we caught a whole bunch of fish, and he threw them all back in. And so.
Yeah, and deep sea fishing is a little more than just sitting on the bank of a lake somewhere.
I wasn't
They're
excited.
smelling like the fish, and you can just.
I wasn't excited about it. No, seriously. I had
wonderful.
the same reaction as he did, but I had the best.
Now, Julie, back to your date with Tad. Could you tell he was attracted? Did you get that feeling?
Yeah, I caught him staring at me a couple times, and when we were coming back on the boat, I was sitting on the front, and he went to go get his stuff, and he came back, and I see a flash, and I'm like, "What'd you do?" And he said, "I took a picture." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, I had to. You look like the goddess of the sea sitting there."
Wow. So, Tad, you have your goddess here. What were the next plans?
The next plans, we're gonna go back to my place and shower.
Back to your place and shower?
Yeah, get cleaned up, And she came out of the shower and she had this really tight, form-fitting dress on. And her hair was all wet, and that's a real big turn on for me. And I was just in awe. I was like, wow.
And Julie, what about Tad coming out of the shower when you got to see him afterwards?
Did he still smell like fish?
I would hope not. That's why they showered.
That's why we did go back.
You like the way he looked after he got dressed again?
Yeah, definitely. He looked good, but he's not really the style that I usually go for. I go more the surfer type. So he kind of, he has like the back home Texas style that I'm not quite, accustomed to.
So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Tad, what about while you guys were out to dinner? What was the most interesting thing that you learned about this guy, Jason?
He's got this weird obsession with Julie's ex-boyfriend.
Oh, what do you mean?
He's always she told me that he's always asking about him and saying that he should introduce me to him.
Well,
and
that's only because she's got so many damn pictures of him still in her room.
So you'd like to meet the guy?
I'd like to meet the guy if he's all over the room,
Well, he's always talking about how attractive
Yeah,
he is.
you
attractive.
always do.
She has a collection. Now, Julie, if you were in a long-distance relationship with Tad, how would you know that you could actually trust the guy?
Well, he's more the relationship type. Jason hasn't really had long-term relationships. Like, we both have been in, serious long-term relationships, and I think Jason, if he had a good opportunity, he wouldn't pass it up like, he did here, so.
He has another shot here, so.
Now, Julie, you say sometimes you have to squeeze feelings out of Jason. Did you have to do that with Tad?
No, Tad had no problem telling me exactly how he felt, and he told me that I was like the female clone of him, and I thought that was really sweet.
All right, well, Tad, you get points for telling her what was on your mind. That's good. How did you show her, though?
How did I show her? Well, after dinner, we went back to my place again. And we rented a movie. We did it right. And, we started cuddling, and she had these long legs wrapped all around me. And it was just...
And so, Tad, at that point, obviously things are going right, and you could tell how much she was into it?
Definitely. And so I just, I leaned over and kissed her.
And that was a moment. And Julie, since you were being kissed by him, how did they affect you?
Well, it definitely left me with goosebumps. It was a real sweet, soft, passionate kiss. It was nice. With Jason, when we kiss, it seems like he has more intentions than just a kiss.
I can't help noticing that Jason's kind of like laughing it off, but how do you really feel that she's making out with this guy?
Well, it's all right since I made out with Rebecca.
Oh, so it's even Steven.
It's okay. It's okay because when we talked about before we went on the show, we agreed, okay, just no sexual intercourse.
You had some rules and some limits. Absolutely. All right, well, Jason and Julie both locked lips with their dates. Was that enough for either one of them to have a change of heart? We're going to find out when we come back, so stay tuned. Decision time. Jason and Julie are trying to accept each other's differences, but before they move closer together, they want to make sure that the relationship is even worth the effort. So that's why we're here today. And Jason, we're going to get your decision. You guys have been together for about 4 months now. You're trying to make a long-distance relationship work, and it's tough. We all know that. We sent you out with Rebecca. You had a little physical contact that went on there, some passion that you thought you were missing. It is your decision. What do you say?
Well, Julie, the 4 months we have, I really had a good time and everything. But being with Rebecca just showed me that there are girls out there that laugh at the jokes, have a good time, and that's why I chose change of heart.
Change of heart. All right, Jason, Rebecca, does that work for you?
Works for me.
All right, Rebecca's good with that. Now, Julie, we're going to get your decision. Things have been tough. We've talked about some of those problems that you've been having. You had a date with Tad. You felt that there was some real romance going on there, an emotional connection that the two of you had. He says change of heart. What do you say?
Well, being on the date with Tad, I realized, there are guys out there who can, other people who can treat me really well, and, being in this long-distance relationship has been really hard, and hearing what they did and how close they got to, the wrong thing. No, I know that now the long-distance thing I can't,
deal with.
Yeah, so I had to change heart.
So you too say change of heart. All right. And Tad, does that work for you?
Great for me.
All right, well, Julie, Jason, by coming on the show, you realize those differences, and now you got brand new relationships that hopefully will work out a lot better, so good luck to all of you, and thanks for being here. That is our show for today. Good luck to Julie and Tad and Rebecca and Jason. See you next time on Change of Heart.